Alright, we're going to be all over the map today with this latest edition of mostly metal and what I've purchased recently. Hex Hammer by Martyrdod on Southern Lord. Kind of D-beat, punk, death metal type stuff from the UK, maybe? No, I don't know where they're from. Sweden. Somewhere around there. Not a great album, not terrible. Kind of what you expect from these bands after being around for 18 years. Nothing mind-blowing, nothing to really dig your teeth into. I don't hate it, I don't love it. Just some lyrics. Looks like there's English and their native Swedish, I believe, vocals and lyrics. This was recorded in 2019. Again, nothing too earth-shattering here. If you like DB with a mix of black death metal, check out Martyrdod. INXS Greatest Hits. This was a $2 purchase INXS really wrote some great songs. Never Tear Us Apart, What You Need You Tonight, Devil Inside, New Sensation. I mean, they're all great hits. It's not metal, I know, but that's why this channel's called Mostly Metal. But lots of great songs on here. If you want to take a ride back into the 80s and 90s, these guys were writing hit after hit. Good stuff. Zoo, Denzel Curry, rap album. Told you I was going all over the place. I love this album. I know it's probably just dumb, mindless rap. Well, it is dumb, mindless rap about women shaking things and speedboats and life lessons from Denzel Curry. If you've been on YouTube, you may have seen, if you're it's from Miami, obviously, if you've seen him he does a great version of Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine, who just announced a tour. So if you want to relive your rebellious youth, go check them out. This is an album I enjoyed quite a bit. It took me a while to get around to it. But this is A Beacon in the Husk by Abyssal. It came out on Profound Lore Records, great label out of Canada. For lack of having any other bands to compare them to, they remind me a lot of Portal. Back when I ran a record label, which I technically kind of still do, the Path Less Traveled Records, I did some CD trading with these guys before they were signed, and I have some copies of their debut that they actually handmade. You can tell they hand cut the inlays too, because it's kind of crooked and stuff. But kind of wanted to work with those guys at one point, but they obviously had bigger plans than I could have provided for them anyway, more resources as a Profound Lore goes. So next up is Gaahls WYRD from Gahl from Gorgoroth. This is his solo album called Gaahls Ghosts Invited. Another great album. I was pleasantly surprised by this. It's got 3 musicians on it who I am not sure of. I don't know who they are. The inside, there's really not much here, but the songs on this are great. It's not just straight black death metal. There's some chanting, like on Carving the Voices, some kind of anthemic choruses. Some of the songs are in a different language, I believe, but Seasons of Mist album. This caught me by surprise. I was not expecting this to be so good. A lot of times when these black metal guys go off and try to do some kind of solo crap, it usually ends up being crap, but this album is great, so check that out. This one's been in my want list for a while. Sandhit. This is Revisionist. Came out on the Flenser record label. Not much to show here. This is kind of instrumental for the most part. I don't know, black metal. It's not bad, it's not great. These guys get a lot of hype. I don't know that the hype is worth it, but I am happy to add one of their albums to my collection if you like the instrumental black metal type stuff. Be sure to check them out. They released a new album last year. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it up just because this album, I mean, if it's more instrumental stuff, it's just, to me, instrumentals music can be kind of boring unless it's done really well. This is another one I had in my collection and lost it. Behemoth, Demigod, great album. This is a reissue, I believe. I don't know who put it out. Oh, Peaceville. Conquer All is one of their best songs, but I had this on CD and I don't know what happened to it. But glad to see Behemoth are getting a little bit of mainstream exposure. I saw them last year open for Slayer with Lamb of God and Testament and Anthrax on Slayer's farewell tour that went on forever. But yeah, it's great album. Fun stuff to listen to. These guys are doing it right. I don't know about the newer stuff, but back then, and when the Satanist came out, and there was another one that came out, they were firing on all cylinders, so to speak. Next up, we have Old Wounds by Young Gods. This came out on Temporary Residence. This album has also been in my want list for a while. The inner sleeve there. These guys kind of make what I would consider noise rock, so to speak. Heavy, melodic, a lot of bass and drum heavy stuff with some guitar sprinkled in. This came out in 2008, which seems like only yesterday, but I'm pretty sure this is a reissue that I found in my local record store. So I'll put some links below. Y'all can check out Young Widows. I think they're a highly underrated noise rock band. A couple more things to get into here. This is a reissue of Singing the Blues by B.B. King. I've been on a blues kick lately. It says this is his classic 1957 debut album, collecting together his earliest singles. There's not a bad song on here. Please Love Me, Every Day I Have a Blues, Woke Up This Morning, 10 Long Years, Did You Ever Love a Woman? These are all classics. This is a great album. And if you have never listened to the blues, you can start here and you'll get sucked in right away. I'm glad to have this in my collection. B.B. King's a great songwriter, great guitar player, and you can check him out. A couple more here, one more. This one, I remember when it came out back in I think it was the 80s, 82. Didn't think that much about it and found it in a record store recently. Original press with a little hype sticker on it and some of the original shrink, but this is obviously Blackout by Scorpions. Obviously it has Blackout and No One Like You. You hear that on classic radio a lot, which is all fine and dandy. But there's actually, this is the original inner too, with the lyrics and everything on it. The songs Can't Live Without You, No One Like You, You Give Me All I Need, China White. They're all great hard rock anthems. This whole album, I think, is fairly underrated in the metal community. If you like 80s hard rock, it doesn't really get much better than Scorpions, and this album is one of their best. I know it doesn't have Rock You Like a Hurricane on it, but still great stuff. The last thing I'm going to show you is kind of a little different. This is actually a book I picked up from Matt Maheron. It's got a slipcase in it, but this guy, he's a like an illustrator and a photographer. He's worked with like the New York Times and the Rolling Stones. And excuse me, I'm a huge Tom Waits fan. And he worked with Tom Waits to create this big-ass book of photographs. It's technically like a picture book, but he worked with Tom Waits to come up with a bunch of old pictures and stuff and make them into a book. And there was a foreword in it from him about how he's worked with Tom Waits in the past, and he approached Tom and said, "Hey, we have a lot of great art here. I'd like to make it into a book, something that people can collect, you know, because there's a lot of great art out there on Tom Waits albums, but a lot of it's throwaway stuff that wasn't used, and he wanted to put it into a nice big book. This is limited. This version is limited out of 250 copies, and each copy comes with a print. That's a cover of Tom Waits' album Wheel Variations, and you look in the corner there, you see the numbering, and then the artist Maharan put his initials on it. I'm going to be doing some more Tom Waits type stuff, but if you're a metalhead and you don't know who Tom Waits is, you really need to check him out. And when I say metalhead, I mean any type of metal. I think metalheads can really appreciate Tom Waits. It's a shame that he's not more popular than he is, but I will be doing, I don't know if I'm going to go album by album with Tom Waits or what I'm going to do there, but highly underrated artist, musician. Rarely tours. I did see him play once, probably 15 years ago. I don't think he's toured since then. I hope he does. But great stuff. I'm going to turn some of you metalheads on to Tom Waits, and you're going to be hooked instantly. So, and also my video, same as my last, I was listening to Reflections of a Floating World by Elder. Still pretty good. So I'm getting into it, absorbing it, and I may do a full review later, as I said in my other video. But other than that, that's all I have for this time, folks. So thanks for tuning in again, and don't forget to Blackout, Scorpions, great stuff. Catch y'all later.